Okay, we're back now with Shades of Green talk show, and I'm your host, Paul Ira. And we're going to go back and talk with Chris Brooks. Got a few more questions for Chris. I'm not going to let him off the hook that easily. Chris, talk to us a little bit about methods and or programs that you think large energy users like local government, school districts, municipalities could use to reduce energy use through conservation, efficiency, and renewable energy.
Well, thank you. There's been, and you know this more than probably anybody I know, a lot of energy performance contracting done at the municipal levels, school districts, states, and counties and cities in the state. And there are a few bills that we'll see in front of the Nevada legislature that make that just kind of make that a little bit more accessible to some of these municipalities. There's also, I believe there's going to be, out of the Governor's Office of Energy, a bill that allows some tax improvement district type financing tools to some of these governments, or not governments, but businesses and here in the state. And there'll be a couple of other things that around energy efficiency and that aren't necessarily incentives or monetary payments, but they just kind of make it easier for governments and businesses and homeowners to tap into resources that are available out there. So a lot of it's pretty technical and pretty wonky that'll bore a lot of folks, but the folks in this room I think are pretty excited about it. But there'll be some programs coming forward that we're going to be working on. But it's early. We have a lot of bill drafts out there, which are basically concepts that legislators and our agencies have that they are putting forward and requesting drafting from the good folks at the Legislative Counsel Bureau so that they can work together with the legislature to create a bill. And then that bill has to work through its process. There'll be, believe it or not, 1,100 bills. Wow. And even more than that in bill draft requests that never even see the light of day as a bill. Now, not even half of those make it all the way through that process. And throughout the legislative session, they'll get hearings, a lot of them, some won't, and there'll be a lot of conversations around that. And so I look forward to working on those because on the Assembly side, they'll all come through that, most of them will come through that Energy Subcommittee. And on the Senate side, if they clear that hurdle, they'll come over to us to get a look at them as well. So there are many ways that the public can participate in that process. And one of them is by either attending in Carson City, which is difficult for most of us, or attending at the Grant Sawyer building down on 555 East Washington. That's the legislative outlet for Southern Nevada, or going online. The Nevada legislature website is overwhelming because it is so much information, but it is very well run and it's a very intuitive website. You can watch all of the hearings and all of the legislative sessions, everything that happens at the legislature. You can watch that online, and the website is leg.state.nv.us. And top right-hand corner of that website, there's meetings. You can just hit that meetings, and then you can look at all the meetings and watch every one of them online. Or you can go, and one way if you're interested, you can dig into this. You can go to that same website and go to NELIS. There's a little tab at the top right, NELIS. They have all the bills, all the budgets, all the committees, all the hearings, everything you need to know. You will get lost in that website. There's a ton of information, but we encourage all citizens in the state of Nevada to participate. Nothing is more important to the process than the actual folks that vote for these elected representatives to hear from constituents about these issues.
That's great.
That's great. And I know, to sidetrack a little bit, I heard this morning new President-elect Trump is encouraging citizens to become more politically involved and become more, not involved politically, but involved from a more educational standpoint and learn more about what's going on. So I think it's a great idea to get on the legislative website, maybe pick a couple of favorite bills and track them and see how the process works and see how they pan out, whether they pass and get it to your desk or not. That's good stuff. You mentioned performance contracting, and we're not going to try and push any products or companies here or anything, but I'd like to give a brief description. Performance contracting, in essence, is a financial vehicle for improving infrastructure. So it's a program that puts in conservation, efficiency, and renewable efforts that generate savings that pays for the program. A lot of the municipalities, the local school district, local hospitals are using this program to reduce their operating costs, improve their internal environments, and overall reduce pollution. And it's just a good thing to do. So for those of you interested in performance contracting, there's a website, esc.com, which is the Energy Services Coalition, and you can go on site there and see more about that. Back to what you're working on, Chris. Can you tell us a little bit about going forward? What are some large-scale power production in the state that's going to be happening? I know I was looking at a chart this week on coal usage has dropped considerably. I know we've recently closed a coal power plant. Talk to us a little bit about that and what's going on.
Well, in Nevada, we have no coal and we have no natural gas. So we bring in our natural gas and we used to bring in our coal. Well, we still do, but less and less every year. I know that they're going forward with a accelerated closing of another coal plant here in the state. That is why I feel we should take full advantage of the resources we do have, which are renewable resources. And, you know, if you look at the carbon output of our state and our country and globally, there's two main causes of that. There's transportation and there's electric energy production. Well, in Nevada, we're moving towards a renewable energy portfolio. I propose that we expand that and we take full advantage of our natural resources we have here. We don't have coal, we don't have gas, we have sun, we have wind, we have geothermal energy, and we can expand upon those. We can use energy storage, which we happen to produce here in the state as well, to help fill in the valleys, the peaks in the valleys, and we use electric vehicles to help reduce our carbon emissions on the transportation sector. One thing that does as well is that helps flatten out the peaks. So when you think about energy production and energy use, it's just peaks and valleys based upon when resources are available, when people need them. Energy storage and electric vehicle use help us with both of those things. And so I think when I talk about modernizing energy policy, it integrates distributed generation, large-scale utilities, transmission and distribution, renewable energy, and rooftop solar, and electric vehicles, and it integrates them in a way that they all help each other. And that's something that just takes a lot of work and a lot of communication with all the stakeholders, and that's what I see on the horizon. And there's a lot of folks who kind of agree with me.
That's good stuff, Chris. Thank you. I always talk about energy usage and reducing our energy usage, and it's a three-legged stool. The first one is conservation. So when you leave a room, turn the lights off. The second one's efficiency. While you're in a room, lighting that room, use LEDs. And the third one is while you're powering that LED, try and use renewable energy. So we're going to take a little break here, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Stan Hannell about electric vehicles and the future of electric vehicles and where is the world going in these electric cars. We'll be right back.